Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of We're Making a Record. I am hanging out with Stuart Coupe, a bit of a legend around town, and we're going to chat about vinyl today. But first of all, Stuart, tell us who you are, tell the people watching at home all about you.
Me, I have been a music, what am I? A music journalist, an author. I've managed people like Paul Kelly and the Hoodoo Gurus. I've been on FBI radio for 22 years, 2SER, a syndicated show that goes around the country called Dirt Music, for 15 years. I've written 17 books. What else have I done? I do stuff like that, and I listen to a lot of music.
You obviously listen to a lot of music.
Yeah, I listen to music. Look, I'm a lucky human being because I work from home and I wake up in the morning and I start listening to music, and I do that till I fall asleep. So I'm incredibly lucky.
I have one of your books. It's amazing, and I started reading your story. It's
another 16 to get.
Okay.
It's okay. Collect the whole series.
16 books.
I'm a born salesperson too.
You obviously have a love for music.
Yeah.
Just quickly tell us where that started.
Look, it started when I was a kid in Tasmania. I grew up in Launceston, Tasmania, and I used to have one of those. You're too young. Crystal radios that would attach to a telephone and wouldn't know where to pick up radio stations. I listened to 70X and 7LA, and I just became fascinated and obsessed by music. First time I had $1.20, which I saved up from doing paper rounds. I bought Friday on My Mind by the Easy Beats, which continues to this day to be my favourite ever song. And then I just started, wanting to write about records and music and sharing my passion with other people. And I just did it. I don't have any formal training. I don't have a university degree. I type with one finger, and I can't spell. And I don't even know. Well, I can't spell grammar properly, and I don't know what it does. But I managed to forge a life out of writing about music.
Yeah, you're a journalist.
Yeah, oh yeah,
and written books.
Yeah. No, that's other people do that stuff. They're good at it. So it just continued. I just listened constantly. I listened to ridiculous amounts of new and old music, and and I never run out of things that I want to listen to, including your record.
Oh, great.
So you knew I was going to bring it in eventually.
Thanks for having a listen to the test pressing.
That's all right.
Well, I thought because of your love of music, and especially as I can see here in the room in your apartment, your love of vinyl, I thought you'd be the perfect person to chat to on this little series and journey that we've been on. Specifically talking to about like how to pick good quality vinyl. So, I mean, that's a bit of a rabbit hole I wouldn't mind kind of diving into. Yeah. I mean, is there something that you look for in a good quality piece?
Black vinyl.
You like the classic black?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd, right?
Okay.
And I have debates with people who well, black is a colour in vinyl, as we know. So my colour exclusively, if I have a choice, is black.
Right, got it.
So I don't know why I have an aversion to coloured vinyl, and I understand the attraction, and I understand that it looks nice when something pink or green or red is spinning around on the turntable. So I like black vinyl. What makes a good record? Look, a lot of it, I mean, you don't know until you put it on a turntable. Because they all look the same until you get them home. Some of them when you take them out of the sleeve, you feel the flexibility and the movement.
And this seems like this is Suitcase Records, pretty sturdy, right? Like a lovely.
Suitcase make really good vinyl.
They do,
and it's just nice. Like some companies make really brittle vinyl, which is like 78s, and the most famous vinyl a few of us joke about is RCA in Australia in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
Used to make vinyl that you could almost bend it round so that it would and I remember talking to a very famous record collector, Tom Zelinka, who's now passed away. And there's a reggae expert on Double J, and he had like an entire garage full of records. And I said to him once, he came by, and I said, have you ever culled your records? And he said, yeah, recently I got rid of a whole bunch. And I said, what did you get rid of? And I was thinking he'd say, oh, well, I don't want any more, I'm sick of listening to Bob Marley, or I wanted to get rid of, my Burning Spear records. And I said, so what did you cull? And he said, every RCA Australian pressing. And I thought, fantastic. That was one of the classic high fidelity moments, that you would cull your records based on pressings and labels, right? But what makes it good? Look, it's putting it on. It's for starters that it's clean. Too many times, particularly in recent times, if I'm paying $60 or $70 for a new record and I put it on and I'm getting cracks, crackles and scratches.
So that's what you mean by clean.
Yeah, and if I'm hearing noise the very first time, as you can see, I look after my records, I put them back in sleeves. And so if I'm getting noise, if I'm hearing a scratch, I bought a record the other day, I won't name the label or the band. Hello, Big Thief. But I got their new album and I love it to death. Big Thief, it's a really great record. But
just a plug there.
Yeah, but I put on side 2 and it was a scratch. First time I played it, and the record had cost me $55.
It's like an actual scratch.
Yeah, an actual noise, scratch, jumpy thing that I didn't expect to be there, and I'm pretty sure wasn't there when I recorded the album. So I went, this is a little bit disappointing. So there's that, and then there's just how faithfully it seems to have recreated what you imagined happened in the studio. Right. I get a lot of new Australian artists who send me vinyl and it sounds terrible, and because they've forgotten the golden rule number 1, you have to master specifically.
I was going to say, does that come down to mastering a lot? Because
it's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, after talking to William.
Yeah, William Bowden, Don Bartley, some of the old school masters, they're really, really good. Yeah. I don't understand what they do, and they charge significant amounts of money for doing stuff that I don't quite understand.
Do you think because William actually was responsible for cutting the vinyl back in the day?
Yeah, look, they understand all the stuff
so
that
they know how it works.
Us mere mortals, and I think they're blessed with a level of hearing that us mere mortals don't have either. 100%. Their hearing levels and frequencies and stuff. And look, call me occasionally cynical, but when a record has been really well mastered by one of those people, you can tell the difference. Yeah. And so invariably, if something sounds not great, it's an independent band, and I understand maybe they haven't had the extra money, or maybe they hadn't done their research about vinyl, so they've sent their digital files off to be turned into a vinyl record. The volume's different, it's murky, it doesn't sound great. So you can tell pretty quickly, or I can, if something's been properly mastered. Got it. So, and look, there is, I'm not an audiophile, the most expensive turntable you can buy in Australia goes for $276,000 just for the turntable. That's audiophile stuff. I have a good, I'm not kidding.
What turntable do you use actually? That's a good question.
I've got a Audio Technica in the... Nice. We have 6 turntables in this house.
That's what I mean. 6.
Well, there's a portable in our bedroom, there's a portable in Hugh's bedroom, there's a vertical one over there, and then there's another one in the back room, and maybe that's 5. 5.
That's enough.
And then I use a Denon turntable in the back room where I work. They're classic above entry level turntables. They're $500 or $600 each. They're not thousands of dollars. I don't have the hearing that would benefit. I can't. I've listened to $25,000. I've never listened to a $276,000 turntable. I would like the experience one day. Where you have to have an amplifier that goes with it and speakers to go with it. So this company in Melbourne, they sell 6 turntables a year. And you have to have, so you're basically looking at an investment of around $750,000 before you buy one record. And my hearing can't,
Not necessary anyway.
I don't think I listen to music. I don't listen to technology.
Correct.
And so look, yes, there's thousands of vinyl records here, but the passageway of this house is lined with about 15,000 CDs, and I have a lot of digital music. So I just listen to music. I don't listen to format. But when you put on a record, it's a warmth. It's a separation. I listen to an enormous amount of jazz, and I like listening to jazz on vinyl, but I like listening to your record too, because you're hearing everything. You're hearing all the parts. And we don't have expensive speakers or anything like that, but they're good enough. And so you're just getting that sense of what you're meant to get, because it's a recording of 4, 5, 6, 8, 100 people playing music in a room.
Yep.
And so what I want to hear when I put a record on is those 3, 4, 5 people. If the drum kit was there, bass player was there, you, Anna, were standing here singing, and I'm sitting over there listening, and that's what I want.
Feels like as we go through this series, a bit of a trail. So it starts with a good recording to start with, right? And good players.
Yeah.
And then having
and good
someone,
songs.
And good songs.
Yeah, good songs. Most important.
Importantly, the good songs.
Songs are everything. Everything else follows from great songs. There's a ritual to playing vinyl that does certainly not exist with digital music, and doesn't really exist with CDs, even though maybe 40% of my listening is CDs. There is a ritual of taking a record carefully, properly, holding it the right way.
Show us how to hold it. Actually,
you hold it so there's no fingers on the vinyl itself,
underneath,
and gently putting it on the turntable and lowering gently the needle onto the beginning, so that it doesn't suddenly jump forward. And there's all that. It's good exercise too. Yeah. It's good for lazy people. Yeah. Because you have to get up every 20 minutes.
You have to get up and turn the TV channels. I do remember that. I'm not too young for that.
No, and it is. I mean, you're 20 minutes. You've got to be committed to the process of listening to vinyl.
Right.
If I'm feeling lazy, I play CDs.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm sitting there for 75 minutes if I want to. So it's all of that. It's spinning the record over. It's the tactile experience, and after a while, it is actually sometimes little scratches and nicks that bring a familiarity to him. And you don't want zillions of them, but sometimes you'll go, oh, that's my copy of whatever record it was, because I was a bit careless one night, had a couple of drinks, or I did something or other, and and it's got a nick, and you go, that's my copy of Astral Weeks by Van Morrison or whatever, or something. And there is that, you don't. I have records I've had since I was a kid. I don't have all of the records I had as a kid, but I have a lot. They have a little sticker in them, a little white sticker in the top right-hand corner. And when I pull them out to play, I'm constantly reminded that I do look after my records, because most of them still sound really good. But I also go, God, these objects have been in my life for 60. I'm 69 now. In some cases they've been in my life for just under 6 decades, and they've been in every share house. They've been through every relationship breakup. They've been through every whatever that has been part of my life, and they've come with me. And I often find it's funny. You look at records, and I don't feel like that way about CDs.
No.
And it's interesting too when you look at your records from the early days. And people will look at your album, Anna, and go, why have you kept a record for, I won't be around to have this conversation, but, why have you kept this record with you for 50 years? And why did you sell that one? Or why did you get rid of that or leave that somewhere? But why has this one been,
They're like time capsules, aren't they?
Oh, they're totally. People
stories.
Said, recently they were carrying on about the 50th anniversary of Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. And I'm well known as being fairly Bruce obsessive, and someone said to me, what does it mean to you to hear Born to Run? I said, first year household.
Yeah, takes you straight back.
It was the soundtrack to me in that year, moving out of home,
Yep.
moving into a share household in Wellman Street in Launceston, and all I listened to through that summer was Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. So that's what it means to me. I mean, it's not.
Have you still got that record?
Yeah, still got it.
So there you go.
And it's not my most played Bruce record. And, it's not even my favourite Bruce record. But it immediately takes me back to being, was I 18 or 19,
Yeah.
and I knew it was summer because I just remembered doors and windows being open and Born to Run being played very, very loud constantly. So it's and I'm immediately transported
Yep.
back there.
Yep.
And so, that can be, if I put on television's Marquee Moon, or I don't really like the Clash's first album, but every Clash album after that. I know you're not meant to not like the Clash's first album, but it's not. It doesn't work for me. I'm a subscriber to the theory that there's no such thing as good and bad music. There's just music that works for you.
That's right.
And music that doesn't work for you.
100%.
But that doesn't make it bad music.
No.
But I don't listen to the Clash's first album as much as other people do. But I hear those records and Never Mind the Bollocks by the Pistols and all that. And I'm back at university in Adelaide in the mid 1970s. And I'm the person that I was then. And I think, I'll look at the Pistols record and I'll remember lining up, queuing up, as you used to do, waiting for Modern Love Songs in Adelaide to open the morning the Sex Pistols album arrived, because you wanted to be one of the first people.
There.
I did that. So
Just takes you straight back.
well, yeah, they're like books. I have 10 million books, and I don't get rid of books because, again, they go back to a time and place. So there's just something, and I'm delighted that if you and I had this conversation 10 years ago, Anna, and you had a new record coming out, our conversation would have been, right, you're doing CDs, and that would have been the end of the discussion. Possibly not even a digital discussion. But if you'd said, I'm going to do a vinyl release on Suitcase Records, I would have laughed at you. In fact, we wouldn't have even had that discussion because no one was doing vinyl. And so it's the most unlikely revival.
I'm so glad.
But then I talked to Margot Price last week, and I said,
she's cool. I love
yeah,
her.
she's good. She was great. She's always great to talk to. But I said, what's going on here? I said, you've done an 8-track.
Oh, is that like a shorter version?
No, it's like what you used to put in cars, 8-track cartridge. And she laughed and she said it was the first thing to sell out. Oh yeah, like cassettes are one thing, right? But 8-track cartridges, that's what truckers used to.
I had a few of those at home. I bought in a second-hand
Yeah, you put
shop.
them in cars, trucks, play 8-track.
She made an 8-track.
She made an 8-track. Elvis Costello made
That'll
an
be next.
8-track of his last one, and she said that was the first thing that sold out.
Yeah. Well, I think people are, after the digital words come in, which was really, it is handy and it's great, but I think people are also craving that tangible, like you say, ritual.
It's a ritual.
And it's a time capsule.
You own it.
It's magic.
It's an object.
Yeah.
You can, trust me, Anna, as you get older, the ability, as with your record, to read lyrics and stuff. Now, if this was a CD, I'd be
Which I am also doing, and yes,
Yeah.
it's a bit harder to read.
But, look, there is something about, I get asked quite often now to write sleeve notes for vinyl releases, and I go, wow, and over the last year I've done a couple, and you get a record and there's your notes written on the back like the old days. So yeah, it's ritual, it's an object. I share my life with an 18-year-old who now has about he's got about 100 albums, most of which I've paid for, but that's okay.
How good.
But he will mainly listen. It's weird. He will mainly listen digitally. But he loves having the object. It's important to him. And then he goes and gets the inserts.
Yeah.
And
that's some of the best bits
and he
to
gets
do,
his blue tack.
Yeah.
And he
awesome.
puts them on his wall or
That's
on the door or something like that. And then when he has his mates over here for poker nights or anything like that, what do? They start playing vinyl. You know,
I've
but
got a
when
bit to get through.
So you have to teach them due care.
Yeah, sure.
So
We could do a whole episode on that too, I think.
you know, records will last for a very.
Yeah.
They'll probably outlast
Look
CDs.
after them, kids.
CDs will deteriorate, and
Yeah.
CDs do deteriorate.
Yeah.
You know, vinyl, if you look after it well, will last for a very, very long time. So
Love it.
So that's why I love them.
Thanks, Stuart.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your
I've
love
talked
of...
too much, haven't I?
Not at all.
Okay.
Never.
All right.
Never,
Is that all right?
never. Yeah, it's great. I just think it's great because you're talking about like the nostalgia and stuff, and people are really starting to reconnect with that again.
Yeah, and people, I mean, they say that 50% of vinyl is never played, which I find fascinating.
I mean, I play mine when I buy it.
Yeah, but a lot of
maybe
people
the
don't
younger
have
generations
turntables.
Don't. Yeah.
And when they go to a gig, and they see you play a great gig,
Yeah.
and you've got your merch there, and you've got
Yeah.
your CD, and you got your vinyl, you got t-shirts. A lot of them will buy your vinyl
Yeah.
for two reasons. One, and they know full well they don't have a record player.
Right.
So they know they're not going to play it.
Yeah.
Or at least until maybe they buy it. In the Instagram photo, it looks so much better.
Yes.
Your signature will look so much better when you
Yes.
sign it. And also it's their way of saying thank you for being an artist. And they feel a bit cheap and chintzy giving you a $20 donation. This is the passionate donation to you as an artist. It's the $50
It's interesting, isn't it?
vinyl record.
Because that is art form in itself too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's art
a
of
lot of
art.
people would just take them. I mean, I haven't got much up at the moment, but I'll put them up on display. And you know the number of people that you see with those displays in their living room or their music room, and they put covers up and look at them.
I do that.
So there's that. But no, it's funny. You know, I have a lot of friends, obviously, who run and work in record shops. They said the two most common things that happen.
Yeah.
Someone comes in with a sealed record and says, "How do you open it?" It's called take the shrink wrap off. It's how you open it. But the other one is the younger people, and bless their hearts, they express complete surprise that they go, "So there's music on both sides."
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's a very common.
Rediscovering.
What you mean? Like, they literally go.
Do I have to get up off the
Yeah, they
couch
go.
to change
What?
it?
Yeah, they go. What do you do? With this, you know, like. I mean, they almost think it's like a big floppy disk, and they're wondering, you know, do they push it into a laptop or into a computer and get it to spout music? And then they go, right, so
I love there's a whole new generation rediscovering
it's
this
fantastic.
art form. Like, and thank God for people like Suitcase too, right? Like Australian owned.
The Australian owned is fantastic, and look, vinyl is keeping the doors of these shops open.
Yeah.
You know, I was having a conversation with a friend who runs a very successful record shop in Melbourne, and we were talking about how CDs are sort of slightly coming back into fashion for some younger kids, you know, because they're expensive. And he said, "I hope vinyl never disappears," because he said we would close.
Yeah.
Because he said the margins on vinyl, you know, they're not astronomical, but they're more significant than CDs.
Yes.
So they and this is an old bloke's shop in Melbourne, where people like me go. But what keeps them going?
Come on now.
No, but what keeps them open? Amyl and the Sniffers, Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, all of coloured vinyl.
Yes.
All of the kids, they made a strategic move about 2 years ago to get some younger, hipper, groovier staff, and they bring in the young kids who buy massive, you know, and all the old codgers, of not me, but the old codgers go, "Oh, what are you doing selling Taylor Swift?" You know, well, there's
People, if there's a demand for it, I think it's kind of cool that she did her own series of.
There's absolutely nothing. I mean, I went and saw Taylor Swift the time before.
Did you?
Oh yeah, she's great.
Wow.
You know, I didn't go last time, but I went to the time before. I went to Melbourne to see her, and but then I went. I was the oldest person at Taylor. I have no shadow of doubt that the week before last in Sydney, I was the oldest person at Tyler the Creator.
No,
people said, "No, you weren't."
No, come
and
on.
I said, I looked at all the staff working there. I was older than everybody. There was no one else.
Most experienced, not old.
Well, you know, there were people about my age, but they were all sitting in cars waiting for their kids to come out. And I go, "Where's the mileage in that? Go and watch." And it was one of the best live shows I've
That's
ever
awesome.
seen.
I think that's so inspirational and great that you are still going out, supporting live music, supporting
I
artists.
stood for
buying
4
vinyl.
hours. I was there for
That's
little.
a long time to stand.
I was there for little. I was on the floor. I didn't have a seat. I was on the floor. I was there for Little Texas, or Paris, Texas.
How great.
Little Yachty and Tyler, who was just unbelievable.
That's great. Worth standing there.
Unbelievable.
I did that. I've stood for 5 for Pearl Jam.
Yeah, I mean, I was
That's a bucket
away.
list
Hugh
for
and
me.
Susan
That
went
was
to
amazing.
Pearl Jam.
I did on-
Was that recently with the Pixies?
Thursday night, yeah.
Yeah, they said I had a ticket, but I had to go to Melbourne to do some
great.
book stuff, and they said it was incredible.
It was great.
And look, you know, you're coming up for Christmas, and Anna, we want people to buy this record for Christmas. And do you seem like a cheapskate if you give someone a CD copy of this for Christmas?
I mean, buy the CD as well.
Yeah, but you know, really, I mean, you know, if you're going to give a present, this is a present. The CD's not a present.
I agree,
This
Stuart.
is a significant
I agree.
Suitcase Records created present.
100%.
Oh, created by you, of course. They're part of
It's
the
a
production.
joint effort.
Yeah, so Christmas present.
I head up
everybody.
on Monday. We're gonna
Christmas present.
pour some vinyl. So I'm so excited. Can't wait to see it happen. So that's a thumbs up on the test pressing.
Thumbs up on the test pressing. Very, very happy.
Great.
Very happy.
Thanks for your time today.
Meets all of my criteria.
You rock.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good. Now, if you can't get a couple of minutes out of that, something.